Now it's time to prepare our skill so that we can deploy it out to test it on the Alexa Developer Console or on an actual Alexa device. So there are a few things that we need to set up before we get going. And the first would be if we navigate to our project folder, let's go ahead and open the abcconfig.json file. So I'm just going to double click on this file here. And in here, there are a couple of parameters that we need to verify. So first here is the ask skill directory name. Jungle-escape is fine. We just want to make sure that that is set up. Next, let's look at the skill invocation name. So that is Jungle Escape. Essentially, that is how your skill will be woken up. Or when you say, Alexa, open Jungle Escape, that's when your skill will fire up. So you want to make sure that that's Jungle Escape. You can change it to something else, but for now, let's leave that as default. For publish locales, here we have English US. So that was our default. Again, if you're going to test this on your Alexa device, you'll have to ensure that this locale matches the locale that has been set up on your Alexa device. It normally works well in the simulator, but if you deploy it to the actual device, if this locale doesn't match the locale that the device is set up in, you won't be able to run this skill or test it out on your actual device. So once you've verified those settings, let's switch over to a terminal. So before we execute the next step, we just want to ensure that your Alexa Skills Kit command line interface or Ask CLI was installed and set up correctly. That way you would have a profile set up. So that was a previous step that we had done. So ensure that the Ask command line interface is all set up correctly with default profiles, and then we can proceed with these next steps. So ensure that you're in your project folder. And in here, you can see these are the files for our Jungle Escape project. In order to deploy it, let's type in npx Alexa-sfb for Skill Flow Builder, deploy, and we are in the project itself, so we can just do a space dot and hit enter. So this is actually going to run through deploying our Skill Flow Builder skill onto AWS, onto the Alexa platform, and we will be able to test this out in the Alexa Developer Console or on a device. So let's just give this a few seconds to complete. Okay, and it's done. So there is one last step that we need to do before we actually test things out. We need to add a new policy so that our AWS Lambda function can access DynamoDB. So that is just a small caveat when you're deploying a skill from the Skill Flow Builder or that was built in the Skill Flow Builder editor. So to do that, let's jump over to our AWS Management Console. So once we're here, let's search for IAM, Identity and Access Management, and we're going to fire that console up. And we're going to create a new policy. So you can click on Policies, the Create Policy button, and we're going to click on the JSON tab. So I've provided the code that you need to copy and paste in here as a resource in the exercise files. Let's go ahead and grab that, and we will paste that content in here. So the name of the file is sfb-dynamodb-policy.txt. So you'll want to ensure that you copy this code. And let's switch back over to the AWS console. Here, we're going to paste it in. Once that's done, we click on Review Policy. Let's give our policy a name. We can call it SFB for Skill Flow Builder LAMBDA Lambda. You can scroll down, and we can click on Create Policy. So once this policy is created, we actually need to attach it to a role for our project. So go ahead and click on Roles, and the role should be the ask-lambda-jungle escape role. So go ahead and select it, or if you don't see it showing up, you can search for it here in the search box. So click on the role, Then we want to click on Attach Policies. And we're going to search for the policy that we just created. So that is SFB Lambda. And it should filter down. We can select the checkbox. Then click on Attach Policy. And that bit of setup is done. So now that our setup is complete and our skill has been deployed, in the next video, we're going to test it out in the Alexa Developer Console.